Sometimes best things happen when you least expect them, and this is kind of the story of me and Hello Dolly. I went to see this musical because Imelda Staunton is on the bill in the title role, and I know this is a classic, but I can't really say that I'm the biggest fan of Golden Age musicals, and sometimes I feel they can be outdated as much as you try to fit them into 21st century. But when it comes to Hello Dolly and this production on the West End, I can easily say that this is one of the best shows that I have seen this year, and if you follow my channel, you know that I'm on a mission to see 52 shows this year, and I'm already about 30 shows in, so I have seen plenty of shows so far, and this one is the one to check out. Hello Dolly is an established musical which premiered in 1960s in America. At that time, it was nominated for 11 Tony Awards and it won 10 out of them. And it is considered one of the last Gold Age musicals, and it kind of wraps up that era when musical theater became its own art form, and it has this particular form that a lot of the writers at the time followed. Given that this musical was written such a long time ago, you may wonder, how is it still relevant for today's audiences, and does it really deserve a revival? The story follows Dolly Levi, who is a matchmaker at the turn of the century in New York, and she's trying to find a prospect for this miserly, well-known half-a-millionaire in Yonkers. However, during that process, she realizes that he is a good prospect for her, and she's trying to make him fall in love with her, and she's doing this in the most fun and amusing ways, and just the whole plot is very entertaining, and there are like different characters who have their like parallel stories, and every character gets their own time to shine. Generally, it's just like an uplifting, positive, and good story to watch. Funnily enough, as a reference for why this story is relevant in the program, they're saying that a lot of people, due to the poor success with dating apps, they are turning to matchmakers, and matchmaking as a profession is having a whole new renewal of popularity. That's not the only reason why it's relevant. It's a story that simply resonates with a lot of people. It is a feel-good story. It's a story about life and love in general, so I think it is a very evergreen take, and what makes it very evergreen is also the amazing music, and just it's a very well written musical and a good storytelling, so how can that ever get old? Besides this being such a classic musical that everyone has to see, I wanted to go and see this production because Imelda Staunton is in the title role, and I loved her ever since I saw her in Harry Potter as Dolores Umbridge, and also I was lucky enough to catch her at the National Theatre when she was in Follies, and she's one of those actors that you feel very honored to see on stage, and I just did not want to miss this, and I'm so glad that I didn't miss it because she is absolutely brilliant and spectacular in this role. The role of Dolly Levi is very active and engaging and energetic, and Imelda is perfect for this role. She is waltzing around the stage quite a lot, walking up and down, dancing, just trying to arrange the lives of these people in New York and in Yonkers, and it's just brilliant to watch her find her feet in this role, both in terms of being on stage with such a numerous cast and also her voice, which just sounds so beautiful, and she is truly one of those actors who fully embody that diva status, because seeing her on stage is absolutely mesmerizing. Imelda plays this role with such ease. It feels like it's a role that's written for her, and I think this is just suggesting how good of an actor she is, and her character is obviously the title character, so there's a lot on her shoulders to carry this production, and she does that so well. Anyone who goes to see this show because of Imelda would love her even more. I am definitely in that position, and I think that she has done an extraordinary job, and I really hope that it gets extended and that more people can see this play longer than like just until September. This is one of those productions that really did not hold back in terms of including as many cast members as needed as possible. There is close to 40 people in the cast, and I think this is so brilliant to see because a lot of the shows that I have seen recently have had up to 10 members of the cast, if that, and I think while that is sometimes more profitable for the shows, it's also really nice to have this big cast, these big numbers, big choreographies, amazing set, and this is where this show really delivers. But while we are talking about the cast, she's playing opposite of Andy Nyman, who is in the role of Horace Vandergelder, and he is also pretty good in his role. He's this miserable man who is loaded, and he wants to find a wife, but he just does not do it in a sense of finding love. It's more all about money for him. And obviously there's the whole turn of events when he realizes that he likes Dolly. But I think it's really interesting also to see the dynamic between Dolly and Horace in this show. It is a typical dynamic where one person is saying that they don't have feelings for the other, and then by the end of the musical they do develop those really strong feelings. And in this particular scenario between the two of them, it is very playful and it is just like really fun to watch their characters. All the supporting roles were there in the same fashion as the main characters in terms of delivery of the lines with such conviction and a lot of fun and playfulness, and generally that humorous timing was so good. A lot of them got a lot of laughs, and just generally I think audiences were like in such good mood when the show ended, which just shows how brilliantly the cast has done in delivering the story in the best possible way. Let's talk about the music in Hello Dolly. If you know this musical, then you probably have your favorite numbers already. I wasn't that familiar with it, so I was really amazed by the score. This is one of those musicals that really fits so well the definition of a musical. Basically, when you think of a musical, this is where you want to go and see. There is now a whole new wave of more modern musicals, which is amazing to see, and they're really groundbreaking. But there's something about these musicals that just feels so classy and amazing to listen to. Just the way that the opening number, overture, finale is written, it just gives that additional boost to the music and to the story, and I loved it. Just Leave Everything to Me, Colin Dolly, is the first song in the musical, and it is such a great scene-setting song that introduces Dolly as this very energetic and character that gets things done. And Imelda is amazing at the song. I think It Takes a Woman is another song that just got a lot of laughs, and it had an amazing delivery from all male cast members, and it was really fun to watch. Another number which I really loved is It Only Takes a Moment, which is towards the end of the show, and it is very romantic and really celebrating love. And obviously a lot of people know the title song either because of the Louis Armstrong version or just generally Hello Dolly is a popular musical theater number, and this cast did not fail to deliver this song in its full glory. It was so beautiful to listen to it, to see it, and it's definitely one of the tunes that everyone left the theater singing. So it was such a special moment, and yeah, it's really grown my love for this musical. Another thing that sets this musical apart is its set and costume design by Ray Smith. This is one of those musicals that really did not hold back when it comes to bringing the story to life with the most amazing costumes and set that is super engaging, and it really puts you in the environment of this story. It really takes you to New York, to Yonkers, and at some point there's even a train going through the stage. It is a very elaborate set, which is something that quite honestly I haven't seen in a while, because a lot of the shows currently on the West End are really heavily relying on more minimalist style or trying to do more with less, which definitely has its place, and sometimes it's really exciting to see those solutions as well. But I think for Hello Dolly it really worked well that they didn't go down that route, and they really went full in terms of developing this amazing set that has really helped the audiences feel like they are part of the story. The set, besides the physical objects that were on the stage, was also really cleverly completed by these projections at the back that sometimes were mimicking the city, but sometimes were also more like a landscape type of images, and they were like moving slightly, and everything was really subtle and done with a good measure. That in combination with really beautiful and colorful costumes, and also the blocking on stage, which was done with the help of this what looked like a treadmill which was in the middle of the stage, so sometimes when there were like really long walking scenes they were really walking, and it really felt like there's a lot of dynamic on stage. All of this has really supported the story and made this production one to remember, and I really loved that this is how the set and costumes were developed. As you can tell, my overall thoughts about this musical are pretty positive, starting from beautiful score and music, which has already been there, but I think now when we have this great cast with Imelda Staunton leading it and these beautiful costumes and set design, all these elements complement each other really well. And also this being set at the London Palladium, there's so much soul and beauty that is in this musical that just, I think everyone in the audience felt that. I was talking to the people next to me and they all loved it. There were a lot of laughs, there were a lot of smiles, and I think everyone left the theater feeling really uplifted and like they witnessed one of the greatest shows that they could have watched. So I think if you also also have previously established love for this musical, you're gonna love it, because I really think that this production elevates the show and what's already good in it. But also, if you have never heard of this musical or you have never listened to it, I think this is a great way for this musical to be introduced to the new audiences who will reignite the new love for this well-established classic. If you're planning to come to London to see this show, then you can do so until September, unless it gets extended, which I really hope it will. Other than that, the tickets are about £15, but you can also play rush tickets on Todaytix or try and get tickets on the day using TKTS. But if you are not aware of all these tricks, how to find cheap tickets on the West End, then check out this video where I'm talking about all of my ways that I use to secure cheap tickets when I go and see musicals and plays on the West End.